Now that common sense is starting to come back to the automotive world, it's time for Ford to bring back that all-American performance we all miss. You guys know what I'm talking about. We're talking about those naturally aspirated V8s. Both of these F150s I have today have the hybrid system. Now, if you're looking for performance, look no further than this engine. This is the pinnacle when it comes down to horsepower and torque, and because it's twin turbo, these engines move, not to mention the electric assistance that these have as well. But the question is, how are the turbochargers going to hold up in 10 years, or the hybrid system? Obviously batteries have a shelf life, and so do these batteries in these trucks. Now, there is 2 V8 options available for the Ford, so why would Ford be willing to build a third? I'm going to answer that question in this video, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Now, most people do know that the 5-liter Coyote is available for the work truck model, the XL, STX. Also, if you want a more premium truck, you have the Lariat 2. Now, if you want a little bit more off-road oriented pickup, Ford also gives you that 5-liter Coyote V8 available for the trimmer. The top dog V8 that Ford offers in the F-150 is found in the Raptor R. That engine puts out 720 horsepower, 640 pound-feet of torque. That is truly the top dog in the truck market today. The problem with that is good luck finding a Raptor R available for sale. And if you do, it's probably going to have at least a $10,000+ additional dealer markup on them too. The other problem is not many people are willing to spend over $110,000 for a pickup truck. And if you're not sold on this Power Boost hybrid system, they still offer that EcoBoost, which gives you 400 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque, only to get outgunned now by Ram's new Hurricane engine, which has 540 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque. But who are we kidding? Ram just released that engine, and because they've taken so long to update the 5.7, they're having cam and lifter failures. Also, they have MDS, which is the deactivation of cylinders, just like the GM engines. And sadly, Ford does have cylinder deactivation on the 21 through 24 Ford Gen 3 Coyote engines. So what is so special about this 5-liter Coyote? Let's talk about that for a second. Well, for starters, it does have an all aluminum construction, so this engine is going to be lightweight, so you don't have to worry about your payload being affected. Number 2, it does have 32 valves, so you have 4 valves per, and it does have port and direct injection. Ram's 5.7 is only port injection, and for some weird reason, GM loves direct injection engines now. They don't do port and direct injection. But like Ram and GM, they too have not really updated this 5-liter Coyote as of late. It is probably the more updated engine here, because I would say this is the most reliable V8 currently. But it's time for Ford to get really serious about this segment. So what am I asking for from Ford here? This is just me speaking. You have top trims like these Platinums and King Ranch. You only have an option to get V6 twin turbo engines or the hybrid system with that engine. Why not offer a V8 for these top trims? Keep in mind, most people buying these top trims are going to be spending upwards of $80,000 to $90,000. This has the 702A equipment group. This one, which is the Space White, does not. So this truck is just under $80,000. Now, with that being said, Ford has another V8 engine that they just released just a couple years ago. It is found in the Yes, the dark horse. Ford has a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 that they can mass produce for the F-150, starting off with the Platinum, Raptor, King Ranch, Trimmer, and potentially Lariat. That would be one of the coolest offerings that they ever did. And that would bring back that American heartbeat that we've been missing all these years. See, because of all the wokeness that has happened, the manufacturers stopped really putting a lot of R&D into these V8s, which is why they're so outdated. And now it's time to change that. Now that dark horse engine does have a uniquely balanced crankshaft. That's Ford's words. Forged pistons and titanium connecting rods, strengthened camshafts, dual intake. So this truck here, or both of these, have just a single intake, which means if you have dual intakes, you have dual throttle bodies, which means you're going to have just more air coming in, which makes more power. Now the dark horse does have upgraded ECU tuning, so if you want to make more power, you would have to burn premium. So that would be just one issue with running that 5-liter Coyote. Now, what is the all-in power with that engine? That engine puts out 500 horsepower, which comes on around 7,250 RPMs, and 418 pound-feet of torque, which comes on around 4,900 RPMs. I truly believe that if Ford offered that in the Platinum trims with the Raptor, you know, because hey, the base Raptor could probably come in still around the same price, because you're getting rid of some components, right? You don't have the turbochargers, the wastegate, all the downpipe, everything. You're losing all that extra stuff. So potentially the engine could just be a couple $1,000 premium over what's in these trucks, maybe even $2,500. And then on the Raptor it could be less, because those trucks have, you know, a little bit different tuning, more horsepower. So yes, I think personally this could be one of the greatest things that Ford did to really bring back that heartbeat that we've been missing in these trucks. And here's the thing, the trucks don't have to make 500 horsepower. They could still come in around, you know what, 480, right? You know, if they have to detune them a little bit, that's okay, because the gearing out back, they have a 373. I know in the Raptors they have a 410 rear. The 10 speeds have deep gears, so the trucks can make a lot of power. And something to consider, when you get these trucks, you do have typically full drive auto. So imagine having close to 500 horsepower in a F-150 with a naturally aspirated V8. Imagine putting that in full drive auto. You have that low end torque that comes on. These trucks would be a rocket ship. And when you consider the fact that Platinums have some of the nicest interiors, you could have that V8 with max horsepower with this interior, with this exterior design, right? That's what I like about this truck. And it has massage seats as well. So I really think that Ford would really be sitting on a gold mine right now, because GM's V8s are just outdated. Their 6.2 liter, which is their Mac Daddy, only has 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. So they can raise the bar with their V8, make more power. They already have the engine. They don't have to do anything really. They just have to just add them into the trucks. They know that the 5-liter Coyote already fits. They just have to find a way to make those dual intakes fit. And here's the last thing I'll say. Do you guys remember back in, what was it, it's the second gen Toyota Tundra with the 5.7, when they introduced the 5.7, do you guys remember that you could get a factory supercharger covered under warranty? They also offered sway bars, big brakes with that as well. It wasn't cheap. It was not cheap. But if you had the option to buy the dark horse engine, and in figuring like what, 2 years, you know, you decide you want to keep the truck, you could add an additional supercharger to the truck, make an additional 100 horsepower maybe, and have that thing close to 600 horsepower. That would just be amazing. And I really think that Ford can do it. I would be probably hating on the F-150s because, you know, I have HD trucks. I would probably want to potentially just look at a pickup truck, you know, with that kind of horsepower, because I mean, hey, I like sports cars, but a sport truck, if they lowered them or did something like special with the platinum trim, that would be cool too. But let me know you guys' thoughts. Obviously that Ford has the 6.8 liter, they have the 7.3 liter. They have a lot of options that they could run in these trucks and have a lot of fun. And because we have common sense back in the automotive world, there's so many opportunities here to really make these trucks great again. I have nothing against the twin turbo V6s. I want to make that point too. They have their place in the market. But I think the biggest takeaway from this video is you already have the engines, right? Update them, make them a little bit better, because that 5-liter Coyote that comes in these trucks now only has 400 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque, which is laughable in today's standards, especially when you're comparing it to these EcoBoost engines. Now, off the line, that V8 might surprise you, but that twin turbo engine is gonna walk it down very quickly because it has a low end torque in the V8 versus a little bit of lag in these. And these don't have much lag either. It would probably be neck and neck, and then the EcoBoost would just walk away from it, and not to mention this hybrid system's even faster. So I hope you guys liked the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to read your comments in this video. I had asked you guys to give me some thoughts on this, but you know, unfortunately a lot of people didn't watch the video I did on a Ford Platinum, because I was kind of hinting towards the fact that they should offer a V8 for these trim levels at the very least, because there's just nothing really fun about these trucks anymore. They're kind of boring in my opinion. I wouldn't be excited about getting a twin turbo V6 engine in this truck, spending nearly $90,000 in the process. So Raptor would benefit significantly with a naturally aspirated V8 over the high output EcoBoost, and of course these trucks with the King Ranch included. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure your bell notifications are on. See you guys soon.